Oh, well, Joshi stopped doing it. We were both
Oh,
doing
I
that.
didn't realize I was supposed to keep on doing
We were
it.
going to keep going because we're working our way through our day of LCS Challengers League. Welcome back, everyone. We are here yet again, and we are Mazel and Joshi. It is 1-0 in favor of Supernova. Yeah, did you think it was going to be anybody else?
No. I'm looking at the emote that production has chosen to use.
Yes.
And it's like,
Sausage.
I've been noticing a lot of, what do you call it, bias coming through. In the emotes
It's just
that we've
our way
chosen
for our
to use.
producers to have some say in it, you know?
Well, we'll see. We do have Supernova going up 1-0 in this series, and ultimately, as we said, we should expect them to be the favorites going into this. And the big thing that I do want to see a little bit more from Mirage Alliance is some proactivity, right? We did not see a whole lot of playmaking coming out from anyone other than RJS, and Will in particular is a player that I do want to see going for some of these more aggressive early games. We know he can dominate some of these games, and while Kenvi is the guy to beat in a lot of ways, Will can do it, and he should try. He should be trying to do so.
And it's so funny because Kenvi used to be the Lilia guy. Like every time, him and Tobio, man, they were actually insane. And I wouldn't necessarily Lilia's out of the wheelhouse of Will, but I want to see like the Viegos. He was bringing out the Rek'Sai when nobody else would last year. I know that's probably not it, but these kinds of bruiser skirmishing champions is what I want to see Will given, and I hope to see that in this game number 2. And I would, if we have it production, I would love to go over the Fearless bands going into this one, because we do have that adaptation coming in for game number 2, and some big power picks actually for both teams taken away.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be one of those big things that you always are looking for, is what is going to be changing in Game 2. RJS cannot go back to the Azir, and we do know that the Cassante cannot be picked up again for Faisal. And so, one of the interesting things, kind of going back to it, is you kind of don't really expect Cassante to be super high on the list of things that Allura wants to play. Like, obviously, he will play it. We've seen him play it before. We've seen every top laner play it at some point, and this is going to be one of the things where you can kind of punish Mirage Alliance for some of the smaller champion pools that a lot of their players have, because Prismal was a support player for about a year. Like, Dardoch is a jungler primarily, and Allura, you know what this guy plays. Has got a very set style. Supernova can try and pinch one of these, and I think that this is a really good way to play against Mirage Alliance, especially after Game 1.
Yeah, because coming out of Game 1, you still have so many available tools, and that's where like I was questioning marking the Sejuani, but the fact they won with it means so much more, because now you just have every other possible high-tier jungler available to you. And so I'm very curious how they utilize that, and that's always the conversation we take a look at the Fearless bands, things like that. I still think there are a few picks that Mirage Alliance will be okay having utilized in their first game, because like the Jhin, I feel like is kind of a throwaway at this point when you've seen so much prevalence of the other ADCs in the meta right now as well. The Rakan was kind of just thrown in there as an engage tool there, so there is some brain picking available to the side of Mirage Alliance, and they really need to find it, right? Again, we've said they've had some heartbreaking losses. 2-1 to Fear in week number 1, a 2-0 loss to Wildcard in week number 2. Then to start this week off, they lost 2-1 to Lit. They cannot go down yet again.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tough spot for them, because they now have to win the next 2 games in a row, and their champion pool is just going to get smaller and smaller if we do end up going to a Game 3. And so, as we start looking at how these guys are going to be moving around the map, I do want to look at how Allura can try and beat Faisal, because Faisal was one of these players where we knew he was going to be one of the major top laners going into the him to be a big carry, but interestingly enough, he's actually been playing much more of a low econ style than we're used to seeing Faisal actually play. He got a lot of resources on some previous incarnations, whereas now, so much has been focused on Shochi, and in that last game, we got to see Array also having a really big impact on their game.
Yeah, it was so curious to me last year when he was transferred over to FlyQuest Challengers and kind of took the place of Philip, but really had a strong top side of the map, right? Like, we were always so interested at his flanks, the way that he was using these bruisers to really affect team fights, and gonna need that a little bit more, I feel like, here with some of that dwindling champion pool. I think still, though, biggest factor for me is that RJS did get ahead. They weren't able to utilize him, and that's been the biggest question mark for me for Mirage Alliance. Is RJS consistently finds ways to get ahead, they just can't utilize him to finish out games as we head into draft for Game 2.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's got very strong opinions on items, some of which I agree with. I was not super thrilled with that build. I understand the idea behind it, but then it means you can't kill any of the other important targets other than, like, the front line. It takes you too long to chew through everything else. And so, as we get into Game 2, we do have Mirage Alliance switching over towards the blue side of the map, and we are already seeing some top lane champions taken off the table. And the Udyr, even though it's not exactly something I always think of as an Alorum champion, when you think about the things that he likes, it's like, oh, yeah, that would make sense. He would blind that basically every time he has an opportunity to do so.
Yeah. I like the top lane focus. It makes me a little sad. I was really wanting to see one of these guys pick out the Udyr. The Vi does get locked away from Kenvi, another big tried and true pick for him. Really good at determining who he needs to cease and desist. The Nocturne also gone away from Will, one of those aggressive, very hyper skirmish junglers.
Yeah, I'm honestly really kind of looking at a Orianna ban coming out from Supernova as well, just because it is something that RJS has had a lot of games on in the past. It is something that he is well known for playing, especially back on his time when he was Deus, right? Yeah. All those years ago, but instead it is going to be Mirage Alliance banning it out to take it away from Shochi, which I think is just less threatening. It's just like not the kind of thing where it's like, oh yeah, Shochi, Orianna, give me that.
It would be like the Akali, I feel like a little bit more so. We'll see, though.
I think the Tristana.
The Tristana's pretty good, too. The Varus, though, is the final ban here. It means that we've had some really big picks left on the table. The Senna, the Ashe, the Callista, all available.
Yeah, and this Ashe has been something that I actually have not been seeing a whole lot just because of how consistently it has been banned. It does a lot of damage, and it also has some tools to just dominate a lot of the early laning phase. And so, as we look over to Supernova, the big question is going to be, whenever you pick this first champion, suddenly you're saying, I'm going to paint a target on my back. I'm going to be the player who has to take all these counter picks, and my champion is that strong anyway. And I'm not sure that that's actually going to be the case. So we do see the Karma, another champion that we've seen consistently banned so far. It's going to have a lot of tools to be very annoying early in the game.
And that flexibility gives you so much to play around. The Xin Zhao, a beautiful pickup for Kenvi, gives him that skirmish power, but Karma is still available as support. You can even bring a top lane if you want to be crazy, or mid lane for Shochi. So playing through that's pretty good. I actually like it bot lane because you can poke back at the Ashe and not let those slows really dominate the lane.
Yeah, I really like it in just conjunction with the Xin Zhao, right? Whenever you make a bruiser stronger by giving them an enchanter, it is really tough to deal with. A Prismal going over towards the Ezreal as well, denying any Ezreal Karma opportunity to play. Now, Array can still play the Jhin if he does want to. It is okay here so far, and because we have seen a couple of squishy champions picked already, it is better than a lot of that previous Jhin picks we've seen.
I will say, though, Ashe... Anytime I see Ashe, I don't want to play Jhin. Because, like, you literally are running around. Your main thing is speed and utilizing that speed to get your few shots in. You take one volley, it's over.
Done.
It is no more Jhin. The Cassante locked in for Alorum.
Yeah. So, what do you like to play in this kind of situation? You know you're going to be taking a lot of poke. You have a Karma that you can rely on to help out a little bit. With the Varus already gone, like, that was going to be my first thing that I was looking towards, as Faisal is going to be locking in the Gwen for the top side. A very good counter matchup, but this bottom lane is still open, and you're going to probably take 2 bans towards Array again.
There's that, but you still have the propensity to take the Karma as not support, right? And you could grab 4-5 as your bottom lane if you want to get something that can actually go into the Ezreal Ashe, because you're either going to go one of two directions. You're going to try to get engaged to stop their poke, which is what they're going to be primarily relying on, or you're going to try to find something to find sustain in bottom lane. I like both those options, but the curiosity is you have that 5th pick, so something of a counter pick available for this one. We do get the Blitzcrank ban. Nicely done for Mirage Alliance, I think, as the Viego does also get taken away from Will.
Yeah. I'm curious what else they banned away from Will. The Nocturne has been banned, the Viego, Xin Zhao. I mean, that is kind of a bit of a deep cut coming through, not something we tend to see very often at this point.
Everybody was a hater last year. I kept liking it. There was a game where that man came away like 10-0-4 or something like that on the Rek'Sai.
That's what Rek'Sai does.
And he lost. Anyways, that's what Rek'Sai does.
That's also what Rek'Sai does.
As the Corki locked away, we also get the Nautilus ban there. So definitely some eyes from Mirage Alliance realizing this bottom lane is not set in stone.
Yeah. And so I am really curious to see how Supernova does adapt to this, because they have a lot of tools. They have a very solid core. The Gwen and the Xin Zhao is a very good combination in order to punish ranged champions, just because you can't hurt them. And so, all right, I mean, it ends up being the Jhin. I see him back on your shelf.
I put him back, baby. I might need to take him down again. I don't know. Though Jhin is, we've had some good times today. Maybe not that game number 1 this time around for Prismal, but it's been looking okay. And it gives you that utility. I think that's so important into a matchup like this.
Yeah, and it does allow you to hit from very far away, while you do let the Xin Zhao and the Gwen kind of dominate the midfield. And so, is Jarvan coming through?
Yo.
Oh, your poor Ginny boy.
Hey! Last time we were all down about the team cup.
Yeah, we gave him 3 kills to start the game. What do you want?
I'm just saying, results-based analysis, baby.
You can't pick that one.
Analysis.
Can't pick that one.
You can't do that. No, RJS. No. This is gonna be the same.
The fact that it had the lock animation on the Azir, I was like, what happens if they just lock a champion they're not allowed to? I know it's not in the client, right? That is just not something we programmed. So, but it's going to be the Syndra, a bit of an interesting pick. Again, another range champion that will struggle to play into the Xin Zhao and the Gwen. And so, the only thing here is, what does Shochi want to play into it? He can take the Karma if they want, but it is going to be the Pyke. Almost definitely going to be playing down here in the bottom side of the map, and so it is going to be a bit of a different look coming through in the mid lane. Oh, you seem pretty convinced it's Pyke.
I like it. No, I'm here for it. I'm here for it, man. Diamond cooking it up today, and he's just Chef Diamond. We know he likes to cook. We talked about it. One day he wants to open up a restaurant for himself.
As long as he's not Prismal's roommate, I think it's okay.
True. Prismal, watch out. I do want to highlight though. Yes, they have the playmaking ability on the Pyke, but everywhere else is super stable for Supernova, and they have that playmaking ability there.
Yeah, the big thing is the top lane is going to be a really good matchup. The Karma and Xin Zhao is really hard to shift in the mid 2v2, and so it's really going to be on RJS to kind of develop some of his own lead. If Will can come towards the center and actually help him out, that'll be great, but this is a really tough top side of the map for Mirage Alliance to build an advantage in, and so I kind of expect that RJS will be left to his own devices, because Will needs to help out his bottom side. Yeah,
the bottom side is important now. Mirage Alliance on the cusp of losing another series. Need to bring it back 2 games in a row. Supernova looking to tick it up to 2-1 on the season to end off week number 3. As we hit the rift, we're looking at RJS and Shochi in the mid lane, but also the pathing of Will and Kenvi. I think Will really needs to have a step-up game here to support the rest of his team and see where the exact focus is going to lie for Supernova.
Yeah, there's a lot of players on this team from Mirage that I kind of know if things start going bad, kind of get quiet, right? And that's one of the things I am a little bit worried about looking at this, because this feels like a really tough draft for them to actually try and play, is we need to make sure that everybody is continuing to talk. And so Supernova, I feel if they get even an early advantage here, this is less like a gameplay thing and more of like a mental thing. I think it'll help a lot if Kenvi's first gank works.
Yeah, I think we see that a lot with teams in the ACL, and we heard it even the last time around when DSG got their first win. Is confidence is key in League of Legends. It's something I bring up a lot, but it's something that's not spoken about as often, I feel like. But at this level, when a player's feeling themselves, we've seen them do nasty things, right? And I think you have to take confidence into factor, especially with these two teams who have a lot of on the edge players.
Yeah. I definitely know that a lot of players, throughout different games, different sports, have always said, sometimes you just kind of forget how to win, right? If you start falling behind, it becomes very difficult to come back. And Diamond, has to start the E just to make sure he doesn't go down.
Approach velocity, man. It's so dirty. Level 1, you're going to get punished for it, and he does. They also had the preemptive ward in there, so knowing that if he goes in the bush, he would heal back, he wasn't able to.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage already getting put into the Pyke relatively early on. It makes it so much more difficult to go for some of these plays. And as the hot shot goes through, they spot out Kenvi. They know exactly where he is. Very tough position suddenly for Supernova to get anything started early on. And we get to see why this Ashe is so difficult to play into.
Yeah, I mean, curious the hot shot level 2, but at least you get the vision on Kenvi knowing that you were pressing up. It probably helps a lot more, especially because of how quickly Diamond can activate his engage. But that does mean Diamond, with this push, I think is going to be the cruel factor, I would say, for Supernova, because he's going to be out on the map consistently. Array can play super safe on the Jhin and bottom side, and I expect once time starts ticking, Diamond will be actively engaging with Kenvi.
Yeah, it is so important to see these two players working together, as now Kenvi coming around, does get spotted.
Will not gonna get it. Kenvi steals away the red and forces Will to flash out, so no flash engage combo from Will available for 5 minutes.
Yeah, really good combination coming through from Kenvi. Really good pathing. He knows he got spotted. He's like, well, time to shift things up a little bit, see if we can make something happen, because we also have great information on where my lane opponent, or my jungle opponent is going, and skips one of his own camps in order to make sure that he can prevent Will from having any effect on the early game.
And it just means that this map is off kilter a little bit. I mean, Kenvi can play with a little bit of presence, gets that Scuttle Crab bottom side. Array and Diamond can play a lot more safely and a lot more confidently down there as well. We do see Kenvi actually going for the aggressive vision here, at least, to try to see if he can catch Will out. But Will's going to go top side of the map.
Yeah, very surprised. Oh, he's going for the dive.
Oh, he wants it. Kenvi going in. The 3-talent strike connects, but he's under turret. First blood goes to Supernova, but it's immediately traded back, and Will's about to make it second as Diamond's coming up to save him. Diamond actually does. The flash comes out, and now he's under turret. He'll end up going down, but it's a 2-for-1 trade, 2-for-2 trade, rather, for Mirage Alliance.
Wow. It's going to be a swag flag kill in the end. I just did not think that that's how it was going to go down. As Faisal trying to find his own.
Whoa, Alorb. He's in a lot of trouble. Going to pop that ghost. Snip, snip, right at his heels. Trying to cut his Achilles tendon there. Won't find it.
Won't find it, but still, overall, RJS just being annoying. Throws the Raptor all the way around to fully reset the camp. And Kenvi, you got to know.
Oh, Kenvi. Well, he has the Scuttle Crab in tow there. 3-talent strike coming out. They will be taken away. He leveled up, though, and now Karma's starting to heal him up, too, and can't get it. Oh, one more auto is not going to be enough. Now Shochi's in some trouble, some shielding, some healing, and it's going to be a kill back over. Will traded for Kenvi.
See what we're talking about, though? That's so ridiculous how long he lived, because Karma just came over to help him out a little bit, and ultimately, we'll get to see that be even more difficult to deal with later on. Diamond was also hanging out towards the mid lane, seeing if there was any further skirmishes. But hey, if it makes you feel better, Mazel, you are not the only Jhin that we just kind of leave.
I was going to say, this is feeling really at home for me right now. Array just gets no present.
But that's okay. He gets plenty of that CS. You know, he's only down 3. He's got the boots. He's doing just fine. Gets some solo EXP, and so we are seeing a very even game so far. No large gold leads one way or another, but it is going to be an opportunity for Faisal to continue finding plays in the top side. Or finding an advantage. Anyway, this is funny from RJS, right? Okay, like from here, that's whatever. Kenvi going in for this crab is where you start like hearing the sirens start blaring, because like, well, RGS, you know he's already there. At least Kenvi, with the level up and the smite, is able to turn things around, and they have a lot of tools to turn things back onto Will. But it's not a play you really needed to go for. You end up being rewarded because strong your 2v2 is, but if you had missed, or if you had lost that 50-50 smite, that's a double kill going over to Mirage Alliance.
I believe we saw in the picture-in-picture there during that 3 grubs go the way of Supernova. Pretty nice to start riding home about, at least. 6.5 minutes. We still haven't had a start on Dragon yet, but I presume there's going to be a lot more focus that way now.
Yeah, Will go for a bat,
trap.
but
oh, he goes around it.
Goes around it. Where's he going? Oh,
Nobody
Diamond spotted him.
knows.
I want to go back to where you saw, I was like, yeah, you gotta start writing home about those grubs, and I really imagine like a World War II like soldier just being like, "Dear Ma, today
Killed 3 grubs today,
I killed 3 grubs."
and that's it.
What?
Oh,
Prismo!
whoa,
Prismo!
whoa, Prismo, bro! You cannot be doing that.
Moving on, we're gonna say that one was an oops. Yeah, that one was an oopsie. That is very bad. I don't really have a good way to further describe that, because it just gives a situation where you are up in a 3v2 and your opponents suddenly have more of a lead for not really doing anything. So props to Diamond and Array for punishing, but it is still a spot where Supernova, we were saying that if they found a lead, we were going to see Mirage Alliance probably shut down a little bit. I'm very worried that that is what is rapidly approaching.
I like this move from Prismal. Makes the mistake, goes right back out to it. Stops Kenvi from starting up this dragon here with the poke he's able to provide over the wall. Does mean, though, Kenvi will just go right back to farming.
It's not as though Mirage Alliance can really capitalize on it so much either, right? Shochi here in the mid lane is going to be clearing out the wave incredibly quickly, incredibly efficiently. And Diamond's already here in the mid lane as well to try and push right on back in the middle part of the map. We see that Will is like, he's trying to get something, but he's on the wrong side to deal with Kenvi.
Yeah, really nothing he can do. We do get the opposite side trades, though. At least Will realizing where he's at and what he needs to do. We'll end up taking that red buff away and lean towards this top side of the map. But speaking of leaning towards that top side map, I'll just say right now, this Squid pick for Faisal, it was one of the most terrifying things we saw all last year, and I'm surprised that he's been left to his own devices so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a good matchup in the Cassante as well. One of the big things is a lot of champions just struggle to get through all the resistances that Cassante has. Uh-oh, Faisal.
Well, speaking of, they rightfully are going to target this Gwen. Does still have the needlework there available. He's going to pull the trigger there, and he's looking for a Lorem. I don't think he can get him, though. The nice little shutdown goes to Will, and they take everything they needed in top side.
Yeah, so you know how you prevent that from happening for Faisal? You just recognize...
Work earlier?
No. You recognize, hey, they're going to go for me, and now Kenvi's going for the play on the other side of the map. Hook lands?
Oh, Deadly Flourish lands on the back, too. Dark's going to do some work. The heal came out. Yeah, I was going to say, Dardock needs to go ahead and pull the trigger a little earlier on that. Now Kenvi is in a lot of trouble. Going to have to pop the Crescent Guard. We've had ultis for ultis on bottom side, but a hook. Deadly Flourish. They won it. Kenvi, he flashes immediately back out. What is going on?
That was a little sloppy. I do like the idea, but you also saw that the wave got instantly cleared by the Ashe, and Supernova committed for the play anyway. And I think that's really where things went wrong. But to go back to the point on the top side, right, the rest of your team is doing A-okay. You're setting up a dive on the bottom side. You're getting the dragon. It's like, but Will is not contesting. Where could Will be? Oh, weird, he's topside? That makes a lot of sense. So you just got to be very careful. That is one of the things that we are still seeing from a lot of our newer players here in the Challengers League, is they will make plays when, in fact, they are the one being played.
It happens time and time again, it feels like. I think Will is seriously set up for success here. He's 4-2, has the Sundered Sky available on the Jarvan, but also it's not going to be him doing the damage, which I always think is interesting, because when we see this guy given the damage tools, that's when he succeeds, and he's going to have to find a way to make it happen here on the J4. I know, speaking of the guy, meanwhile, we get the 2v1 on top side of the map, actually. Speaking of the guy, this is kind of a last gasp effort for him, it feels like. He's really riding a lot of his future off of this year and making sure that he can pop off at every moment. And then we've seen that happen. It's a team game, Joshi, and you have to be working with the team, even if he's getting all these crazy KDAs, even if he's playing these aggressive plays. It's about pulling it together.
Ooh, nice footwork from Orion. But yeah, it is definitely a spot where Will has had a couple of chances here in the Challengers and Academy League, and I do feel as though every single time he's been here, he has looked good. But I know one of the big things and why we only ever saw him during summer was he was still very young, right? Oh!
The hook goes in. Well, hey, he's got the Sundered Sky. He's feeling pretty good.
Oh,
they're going to TP down here. And Faisal has come to send these Mirage Alliance camels back home. As it looks like now Will's just fully going in onto Diamond. He does end up flashing out of it. Shochi found Dardock. Dardock's just going to die. Deadly Flourish not enough, but Shochi gets the kill. Oh, Kenvi actually gets hit back by the Scat of the Week. The Crescent Guard's not going to save you. Prismal gets the kill there.
And Alorem just left his own devices up at the top side of the map. We'll be able to get a couple of plates and undo a lot of the pressure that Faisal was putting on the top half of the map. Getting the kill over to Will previously, and now getting even more plates to himself. Alorem has really undone a lot of the early issues that he was having in the lane. And now he's going to be able to be a major threat going up against Array, Diamond, Shochi later on in the game, because they cannot kill him. It's all about whether Faisal can do it. And he's thrown away a lot of his lead with these last two plays.
Yeah, the fact they didn't come away just gleaming from that play bottom side does feel rough. Almost 3 plates going the way of Mirage Alliance up here. I will say, you have some item completions coming up and a lot of presence around mid lane. We got a fight going on. Meanwhile, RJS getting burned. Diamond kills him. Will kills. Actually, RJS gets the kill return. And we have a 1-for-1 in the mid lane, but big importance, a shutdown going to RJS.
Yeah. One of the big things that we do need to continue watching is how strong are Kenvi and Faisal, right? Because they are the core that this composition was built around. You have the Gwen and the Xin as the Grubbies come through. The Twitch chatters always doing their little part to get a little bit of extra damage. But as we take another look at this play, I mean, Shochi just running right on in, but he's going to be a support character later on in the game. And while they are able to pick up RJS with this Ignite, the fact that Will is so much stronger than the Xin Zhao is in a lot of these upcoming skirmishes, it's going to be very difficult for Kenvi and Faisal to actually stand in the places that they need to in order to create space and do damage.
Looking bot lane play now. Prismal not going to be able to buffer out of the Deadly Flourish there. Doesn't have any mana left, but got out of that Bone Skewer. So feels good, man, as now 20 seconds till the Dragon spawns. Supernova want this one.
Yeah, and Will is already chilling out in the mid lane, looking for Shochi.
Oh, Shochi.
Okay.
He realizes a little bit too late that he's in some trouble. He's trying to dodge out, but he just can't. Power Unleashed is there, and Shutdown goes to Will. Enchanted Crisareo goes wide. Now Kenvi is in a lot of hurt here, as well as Crescent Guard. It's not going to be enough for you. Another couple kills go to Will, and the man is at 6-2.
Yeah, RJS and Will doing a lot of work here in the mid lane. 2v2s consistently coming out ahead at this point, and so they're setting up for this dragon as well. But Diamond and Array are not satisfied and just letting that one go over to the other side of the map for free. Just a small lead starting to build up for Mirage Alliance, and it's on the right members. The fact that Will has been much more active in this game than we got to see him in Game 1 is giving us a lot of hope that they can actually make things happen.
And again, it's the difference in style of pick. This is much more the go for button and I can do it myself style of play that I think Will is known for. And the Lilia, if you're ahead, fine. But most of the time, you're playing at the edge. You're playing skirting around. You're trying to get damage down to sustain the fights. And that is not what Will succeeds at, it feels like. He knows when he can get kills, and he goes in for it. And we've seen it here on the J4.
He's on the opposite side of the map, though. He is going to be giving over a Dragon, it looks like, to Supernova and trade it for this Rift Herald. So potentially an opportunity to play for the top side, and Faisal needs to be very careful. Again, the wave is not in a good position for him to try and make a play, but he has to know, it's like, yeah, my team is doing the Dragon. There's no reason for me to try and do anything here, because this is where the Jarvan is very likely to be. But still, game very even between these two teams, and we saw that last game. It was Supernova who explosively took over the game in a mid-game team fight, and we're looking to see how effectively Faisal and Kenvi and Shochi can work together in order to create that space during the next time that these two teams engage.
Yeah, I mean, Diamond has now hit the execute threshold. Oh, RJS. He does have a way out of that one, though. Did have that Seraph's Embrace complete. Oh, the wind becomes lightning. RJS, my man. This has been a couple times for Mirage Alliance. They've just gotten their pants pulled down around their ankles.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about habits that different players have. This is absolutely one that RJS has, where he will just go and it's like, hey, look, there's Raptors here. I'm going to go ahead and get myself some chicken, but if you know that he's going to do that, you can punish him for it, and that was a fantastic spot coming out from Kenvi. Crazy tools still available to the Xin Zhao in the 1v1. And now it will create a lot of space on the top side of the map, so Shochi might be able to topple this turret.
Yeah, it's really rough to deal with. Also, that the Titanic Hydra spike getting the auto reset there, so big with the 3 Talon Strike. I think it's just so nuts to deal with, and RJS going to burn his TP down bottom side. Diamond was hovering over top side just in case anybody want to come defend this turret. But that is also something we have to think about, is the objective stacking so far for Supernova. They've gotten all the mites. They've gotten 2 spawns every time they get hit by a turret. And they've also gotten 2 dragons already under their belt.
We got to see that last game. They were eventually able to pick up the Infernal Soul as well. And so this time, I mean, having the bonus movement speed on melee champions is so effective. You have the Ghost on Faisal, you know he's going to be so speedy. They continue to stack up these Cloud Dragons, but Alorum does need to be a little bit careful. He never wins this.
Kenvi's coming too. Alorum thinks that it's just Shochi, but you always got to remember Karma's got friends, and he's going to pop his Ghost to try to get out of this one. He will make it away.
Yeah, but that's going to be losing a chunk of health and the Summoner spell, and so on the other side of the map, this is where we got to see. Here goes Will. Should be
He's
fine.
driving away in spring, baby, as he does get the charge in halfway down. But Diamond and the flank of a century here for Supernova as he goes a little early. Deadly Flourish is not going to connect. Shochi is now here as well. Curtain Call's coming out. Faisal, he's looking to get some needlework damage in here. Dardoch taking the brunt of it and will go down. Alorum TP'd super late, and this might be capitalized on by Supernova. Will's just getting the hell out of Dodge. Alorum TP's to his death, even though the all-out comes through. Kenby's right there to say, I got you, boo. And now Shochi's going to speed him up, no doubt, in Alorum. He's getting run down here. They got the blast code over the edge, but Diamond was waiting the entire time. Kenby gets the kill. And I love that we're getting these fisticuffs from both junglers, and both of them representing well.
Yeah, Prismal doesn't have the flash. He should still be down.
He's done. Kenby with the reset. Oh, he can't get him. But Diamond comes over the top. And the communication is on point, but Dardoch shuts him down.
But the mid lane turret should still be going down. Supernova, Shochi, oh my god. Shochi is still not letting anybody approach as they find even more. Supernova now have a small lead for the first time this game after a very chaotic series of events towards that bottom half of the map that started with Mirage Alliance is trying to take down the turret, but overextended because of the double TPs.
The way that fight went down, I don't think you could have called it from the very beginning. Cosmic Drive actually did get completed second item for Shochi now, and I think that gives them so much speed of engage that it's terrifying for Mirage Alliance. Will has great lockdown for somebody who doesn't move a lot, but it's going to be a lot more difficult to execute, and this is where it all started.
Yeah, I mean, you did call it out. Diamond went a little bit early here, but the fact that they were able to slow things down and let Mirage Alliance know it's like, hey, you need to be worried about some of these skill shots sets up quite a bit for the rest of the team, and Faisal will eventually join the rest of the fight. At the same time, you actually got to see that Array peeled off, went towards the mid lane, and the fact that Alorum ends up buying a lot of time here for the rest of his team ends up not working out in their favor because he pulled Supernova towards the mid lane where they are then ready to go for the next play onto the next player.
And when we come back to live, the map is in totality Supernovas, except for the top side of the map where an outer tower goes down. Supernova are looking at a Lorb under tower here. All these mites able to tank so much, but 20 seconds on another dragon, and this would be soul point for them.
And that would be really big. They're in a perfect position, whereas Mirage Alliance on the far side of the map, not going to be able to deal with that at all. And Alorum, I mean, he's trying to deal with this wave. Faisal's on the opposite side in order to try and make sure that Mirage Alliance cannot push too aggressively, but Supernova are going to be the ones who should come out on top if everything else is traded.
Will is going in topside. We have two fights. We did miss that engage up there, but it's bot side that we're going down into. Now the knockback here, a big all out, but here comes Array over the top with the curtain call and forcing everyone away from that fight.
Yeah, Prismal taking a lot of damage. Faisal still up in the top side going up against RJS, but as Will finally gets the full reset in.
Dragon's already going.
Dragon's going. Kenby should be able to pick that one up. Faisal bought enough time to force Will to reset.
And we have a little bit of time here. We got to have a conversation because Mirage Alliance have come so close but been so far so many times. It's a communication issue or something going on, but it just feels like as time goes on, some of those play calling, some of the map direction just falls out the wayside.
Yeah, I mean, you got to compare it to players like Winnie, right? Like, whenever we see a game like this, it does feel as though Mirage Alliance are trying to play much more of the macro game that we kind of expect them with the number of long-standing members of the community continuing to find games and continuing to find teams. And now we're in a position where a lot of these younger guys are just out-handsing them. There are a lot more hands, or a lot more mechanical plays that Supernova are willing to go for in order to try and take them down. And Mirage Alliance aren't necessarily trying to counter 100%.
Yeah. And it's just not working out so far. We did get a couple big item completions, though, at least. The Miramana is going to be working towards for Prismal. You did get the Canic Rookern for Alorum as well, and the Shadow Flame for RJS. So at least they'll have a little bit of sticking power, but Diamond, he's been hunting. He's looking. He's a pike waiting in the wings.
I was hiding.
Oh, Dardoch. He's going to go for it. Let's see it. Oh, he gets him. Now, meanwhile, Power Unleashed onto Array just claims his life. Diamond is down too. Dardoch finally going to get bursted down, and Kenby's the one that's doing it all himself, it feels, as Shochi helping him out there with the supportive karma. But my God, The power in these junglers is insane, while Faisal's taking a side lane turret by himself.
Yeah, Faisal ended up using the ultimate and the
chase
ghost,
this.
but they're still going. Will should be okay.
Flash is available for Kenby. Shochi getting bursted here by RJS, though. Not going to be much more here.
Yeah. Now, we do have to note that it does look as though RJS did get access to the execute. That's part of why he killed Array so quickly in that last fight. He had enough Syndra dollars to get all the cool gadgets and beams coming through, but Array just dead, right? Not a whole lot for him to do there, but that does mean that RJS is rapidly on the scaling train. Kenby, though, I mean, he does not die. He does not die to Prismal. Prismal does not have the damage at all, and I'm a little bit surprised. Supernova very clearly on different pages in that last spot. I was like, do I go back in the fight? Do we want to continue fighting this? Do we want to continue making this play happen? Ultimately, they kind of went 50-50 and did not get as much as they probably could.
Another thing I noticed is that Kenby went into that fight with a giant chunk of gold in his pocket. That man, like, almost fully completed Steric's gauge there on the back. So I don't know what was going on with the timing, but it's definitely something to think about. Will tries to go for Diamond, gets pulled back, and the rest of Mirage Alliance have to be here. Will going in for the engage now. Double TPs. It's the Avenger beams, but it's not going to be enough as Shutdown goes straight into Array's pocket.
Yeah, and Faisal as well, even though he does teleport and has to use the ultimate and the W just to get himself out, he is now in a perfect position to start helping them hit the Baron buff here. RJS, he's going to be the one who's got the bulk of the damage to actually do this.
They don't
Baron.
do this fast at all. They're looking for a turn potentially as Diamond wants a hook on the side, but it's going down. It's starting to get a little low. They don't have Will. It's getting dicey as Supernova now get the engage, but they don't find it. Diamond takes him out anyways, or gets taken out rather. Now on the other side, Kenby is trying to take down Aloran, but he's a Cassante, and nothing else is going to fall. Kenby almost going down to RJS, but Mirage Alliance are sticking it to him.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see yet again Supernova not quite on the same page with how they actually wanted to play that fight out. It does mean that they end up losing a member and also going to be losing this mid lane structure as well. Opening up the map a little bit further for RJS to try and do even more damage. Continue to stack up those Syndra dollars, and it looks like he's fully stacked up. He's got the built-in Rabadons in his kit, so he's going to have a ton of AP for every item that he builds going forward.
Look at the amount of wards in that bush right there. Literally 6 ward pings. No big deal. They really, really wanted to see that bush, and it was important. I think that's the factor you have to notice is Mirage Alliance actually pounced really well on the very split nature of how Supernova approached that last fight.
Yeah. It's really important for Supernova that Karma is able to empower both the Gwen and the Xinjiao, and that just didn't happen. They went in different directions for that last fight, and now Supernova trying to find an opportunity. Remember, they are still 3 dragons to the Cloud Soul. That helps out quite a bit for the members of Supernova that are just trying to run down and use their Death Ball to create enough pressure on the map. But Faisal in a bit of an odd position and is potentially pickable before the fight starts.
Turn call coming out early, forcing Mirage Alliance away here, and Will getting a brunt of damage done to him. Faisal's taking down Dardoch, though, and he's gone! Just like that, the support's traded, and we got a 4v4, baby.
Kenby's got the red buff, too. He's going to heal himself right on up for this upcoming fight. They both still have Smite. There is not a flash on Will before the dragon actually spawns, so now we get to see how Supernova try and set this one up. They have a big tank that they got to deal with.
Kenby's trying to get position over here at the Dragon Pit, but he's got half health here, and so does Will, but Will's got Aloran right in front of him here, too. So some poke is going to be important to get down before, but Kenby's just going straight balls to the wall here, going for the Dragon. It looks like Supernova needs to be a lot more careful. I'm surprised he just started that one up. Now it's perfect timing for Mirage Alliance to just go all the way in. Meanwhile, it's Kenby going on to Will, but Will finds the double engage onto Array, and Faisal takes him out. Now Kenby's all by himself. He can't have anything happen here. He's going back in. Shochi's doing work, but it doesn't matter. And they just didn't have the tools. Shochi gets one. Diamond's coming. Diamond's got the resets. Death from below. It's coming for ya. And he's got the Imperium Pike, too. He can't get the angle there. He's looking for more. He's got the death from below yet again, but he can't get it. Here it comes. One more. Give him another one. As it's coming through, he misses it. But it's Supernova running away. And Dardoch, he's being run down by the snippy little scissors.
It took them a little while, but Supernova figured out their composition. Hey, let's get Gwen and Karma working together. We're going to run everyone down. Gwen doesn't die, and Diamond, that's the first time he's actually got a couple of resets in this game. They're going to be giving themselves the Cloud Soul, and that makes that play so much easier next time around. They're going to be able to back away. They're going to be able to get to the Baron buff as well, and we're going to see this exact lesson that Supernova just learned repeat itself one more time.
Feels really bad for Mirage Alliance. They were in such a powerful position here.
It started off so good for Mirage, right? Shoji not able to interact with either of them, but Faisal, as he does back away, will eventually have an opportunity to come back. Whereas, I mean, yes, Kenby is 1v4, but you got to see, like, he just stuck around for it so long in that last
untouched.
fight. Yeah. And he's just creating so many problems that Diamond is able to take down the first kill. He's able to start resetting, and I love this. Going into the pit, just trying to make sure that he can get another ultimate off. And when he does find it, it creates a perfect position for Faisal to just start running in as well. Diamond coming back, finally having his big moment on this Pyke in order to take that fight to Mirage Alliance.
And I'm just going to say he had the execute there on the last one on RJS, but the Sarah shield came up the last second. So that's why he goes for the ult, even if it didn't look like he was able to get it. I appreciate that.
It pierces shields.
Yeah, it does, but he had too much health on top of that.
There you go. So you gotta say these things, Lonnie.
I do wonder, though, how you approach the next moments, because you're starting to scale. Like, RJS is a force to be reckoned with, but it's about sticking the damage. And maybe here it sticks a little bit harder onto Kenby. He's got no support, but he has a Crescent Guard, and he's buying so much time. The Imperium comes in from below, and the Death Dealers are starting to deal their style they do in the shop, and it's going to be Allure running away now too. Mirage Alliance are dusted, and it's Supernova who claim kill over their body.
It took him a while again, but they are fully online. You got to see how long Kenby lived. He's actually full HP once again. Diamond's still looking for more.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! That's everything used, and Diamond's still alive! Meanwhile, Faisal's in top side, but Baron in the eyes of the Beholder, and that Beholder is Supernova.
Chasing down Will at this point. Shochi, oh my god, that landed! That's just rude at this point. Shochi continuing to create space here in the mid lane. The Twitch chatters continue to help out to get even more damage on all these structures. And they are doing three things at once. Mid lane, top lane, the Baron, all at the same time. Supernova have dominated the last couple of minutes because they've finally gotten their composition to fully come online.
Just feels like Mirage Alliance are struggling for answers. You see Dardoch there not wanting to move up. He had the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and I hate to point it out, but you brought it up multiple times earlier. You wonder in these kinds of situations what the communication is looking like for Mirage Alliance, because I think there was absolutely a play there to punish Supernova on the way out, but they are just feeling like there's not many answers left as they circle down the drain of a 10,000 deficit.
Yeah, and with 3 minutes until the Elder Dragon actually spawning, that is a lot of time on the Rally Cry Baron buff, and Alorem? I mean, he is ripped apart.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely just gets handled up here. He's going to try to get the all-out angle there, but can't really find it. He just dies outright, and things are breaking down. There is nothing left for Mirage Alliance. It feels like things are just starting to funnel down their way. Another shot from Array gets it in. Prismal's just standing there watching, gets hit by the fourth shot on the back, and now Supernova, with a push in top, a push in mid, are looking to put an end to this game.
And it's just a collapse all at once coming out from the side of Mirage Alliance. And RJS, are you okay?
You just can't do it. Like, what is going on right now? The team that was putting up a fight for 30 minutes has gone and left the building, and Supernova have taken control of the whole dang campus. That's a game two, holistically going to Supernova. Another Heartbreak City visit for Mirage Alliance as they close out their week 3 without a single win. But Supernova shine brightest. And it's 2-1 victory for them. Or 2-0 rather, and a 2-1 scoreline for them.
There you go. We figured it out at the very end. I mean, it just looks good from Supernova, right? I'm really glad that we are getting to see more members from this roster really starting to step up. Because I was starting to think it might be the Shochi show for the rest of the split. But no, we have a lot of people looking at this roster and saying, yes, this might be the team that is going to be challenging FlyQuest challengers for the #1 spot if they continue to have some plays like this. As long as they are on the same page, they figure out their win cons, there's not a whole lot of teams that will actually be able to hand check them as long as they understand their win conditions.
Quick shout out to Mirage Alliance. Again, I still think biggest contributors. It wasn't RJS this time, but Will back at it again. Can't find a cleanup, but has such good early ideas of how he wants to play. It was a pleasure to watch these two junglers go at it, and Kenby comes out on top. Anyways, that is it for this series. We're going to shoot it to a short little break, and after that, we'll have our winning interview with the side of Supernova. So we'll be back.
Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious foot-long cookie, foot-long pretzel, or foot-long churro.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Rally Cry post-game interview. We are joined by the wonder jungler of Supernova. It is Kenby, right back at it, right back to his old traditions, and back at it again. My God, a 2-0 victory over Mirage Alliance, and it felt like we got the Kenby we all know and love, that aggressive nature and early fighting. Does it feel like you're back in your comfort zone now?
I think, yeah, I'm getting back on my comfort zone. I think right now, yeah, I think I am 100%. Because I think this is my last year if I don't make LCS next year. So I want to try hard this year, and I need to have my voice back, or my ego or confidence back, my playstyle. So yeah, so I'm gonna play my 100% this split for sure.
Nice. Now you know that you used to run this league back the last time that we actually got to see you in the Academy and Challenger space. But we feel as though that there's a lot of strong players also in the league who have joined since then. How would you rate yourself amongst other players like Shaden and Keel and Perry who have kind of risen up over the past couple of years?
I think I'm for sure above them. I would say Shaden is kind of close. I mean, other junglers is I don't really know. Like, I don't think they're that good, and I think it's only Shaden who can compete with me, like FlyQuest. Yeah.
So I have a follow-up question to the kind of the conversation we were having earlier is like the communication of this team, right? You have a lot of big brain guys that feel like a lot of vocal guys on this team, but it also feels like you are taking a lot more direction where in the past, it feels like maybe you have let that go to other positions and it may be a little bit more headstrong from other sides. So do you feel like you're a leading voice for this Supernova roster now?
Yeah, I was thinking back then that that's why I was kind of like playing not good. I think I should call more. Like I need to have my voice back, and I think yeah, if I have my voice back, I play well because I would say like last year I just didn't have my voice. I just let my teammates call because like I have more respect to like the veterans because they have more experience. So like I just don't call too much. I just don't have voice to the team, and that's pretty bad. So
Yeah.
I will give it back my voice again. Yeah.
When you play your game, man, it looks like a different beast. I'm just saying. All right,
Yeah.
go ahead, Joshi.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, the other thing is you are obviously on a new team with a lot of players that I don't believe you have any real history with. Who has been your favorite new teammate to join you in Supernova this year?
Favorite new teammate? I think they're all good. I mean, they're like funny to be honest. I like everyday experience. We just have fun. I don't really have favorites. I think all of them.
Coward answer.
You threw him under the
Yeah.
bus, Joshi. You know? All right, Kiffy, I want to give you a chance before we let you go. You've had a heck of a day. Do you have any shout outs, anybody to talk about, or any message to the Kenvi fans here before we let you go?
Thank you for the fans that was still supporting me. Even I have a rough LCS career. I will make sure I'll go back in the LCS and Smurf on it again, like with confidence. I will be playing my confidence and my playstyle starting from now on. Yeah.
Love to hear it, Kenvi. I'm sure we'll get to see more of you soon. Thank you so much for the interview. We'll see you next time, all right?
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye, Kenvi. All right, we're going to take it back from him, and it's just me and you now, Joshi.
Just the two of
Likely
us.
candidates. I do want to go ahead and bring up the standings here to take a look at what we've gotten at the end of week 3 of our Super Week here. And it has been a slugfest, but FlyQuest Challengers remain at the top of the standings here. But a nice, smooth little entrance from Supernova. They're at third.
Yeah, this is a big push coming in from Supernova, and we're starting to get a little bit closer to what we were expecting, right? DSG picking up the win earlier today, and Supernova, both teams that we were expecting to have a lot of success over the course of this regular season. And then the big question is going to be, how are some of the other teams that are sitting here in the middle? Wildcard, AoE, Fear, and Lit are all teams that we are still trying to see exactly how they're going to shake out because they still have so much of their regular season left to play, but congratulations to Supernova and DSG today. Hopefully we'll continue to see them winning.
Absolutely. So that is our standings. But now it is time to give a nice little thank you to Samsung as we have our Samsung SSD Fast 5 returning for 2024.
The Samsung
And
SSD
what a
Fast
way to do
5?
it. Samsung SSD Fast 5? Oh, man. It is, though, very interesting to take a look at a lot of Mirage Alliance guys at the top of the list and top of jungle, but it doesn't matter.
Weird that Darkwing's got his legendary at 5 minutes and 13 seconds there, but still very cool coming through. I am a little bit curious to see if we can pump up these 80 carry numbers though, right? I'm used to seeing those numbers at like 135 going for the level 1 kind of skirmishes. I want to see that kind of blood coming back into the game.
Same. I'm right there with you, buddy, and I want to see it too. But I think a nice little nod is the fact that Team Liquid, we're picking it up this week, it feels like, and we do see Jenkins, Keel, Roamer up there, at least in the stats category, but also just some really good singular performances from a lot of the people that we see on these lists. So congratulations on the winners of the Samsung SSD Fast 5 for this week. But that is going to be it from us. Joshi, it's the end of week 3. We have another Super Week next week. Any thoughts coming away from this?
I mean, we got a lot more games coming up yet again, right? The fact that we have not just 3 days of games next week, but we also have a long day of games because Friday is not going to be starting at what you're used to seeing. It will be starting at noon on Friday in Pacific time, of course. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you follow every single game that's coming through because that's how we make sure we support the future of the LCS.
It is indeed. And I want to go ahead and say a big thank you to you, Joshi, for tagging along with me. It was a pleasure to be reunited once again, get to cast with each other. It's been a long time, it feels like. Shout outs to everyone at the crew of Rally Cry, especially our producers, Cynthia and Emily. Really big shout outs to you guys. It's been a hard week. Thank you all for putting in the work. Thank you to the audience for tuning in. And we'll see you next week for some more Challengers League and on Summoner's Rift.